here's the video that a lot of you have been asking for months now, since I bought the property and since I started building the whole track. So we're gonna get into it right now. I'm gonna explain pretty much everything at this point, what's been going on the past couple months, why it's kind of been in the dark and I haven't been able to talk about it, since now everything's pretty much done with my lawyer for now. We kind of finished everything out. It's closed out as of right now. Who knows what else is gonna happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something else pops up, but for right now, I'm able to talk about it, kind of where we can go from here. So I'm not trying to bash the town or anybody by making this video. This is more or less just awareness to somebody out there that might want to potentially buy property or is looking to buy property, wants to ride their dirt bike on the property, maybe build a track or make a couple piles of dirt on your property, and the steps you might have to go through, some of the risks you might face when purchasing a piece of property. So I'm gonna try and make this short and sweet. It's really cold today. It's like 15 degrees. It's snowing. We're gonna get a huge snowstorm tonight. So I'm trying to film this video. Start when I actually purchased the property. Periodically, I'm going to put in videos that I filmed on my iPhone when the code enforcement guy came out and some other people came out, which will kind of add to the storyline and what actually went down, and it'll all make sense once I place it in there, and then we'll recap it at the end. So basically, we're gonna start out when I first purchased the property. I think the first week of closing, maybe a few days after, rode out here for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I think me, Ryan, Phil, and Mike riding on and off. It's like 4 or 5 p.m. We came out here, rode for a little bit. I'd already spoken to both the neighbors on either side when I actually entered the property. Both very nice, had no problem with what I was doing. And that should really be my only concern on who I have to talk to as far as my main neighbors when you come into the property. Everybody else, I don't think I should have to go to a whole road of people letting them know that I'm gonna ride dirt bikes on a 30-acre piece of property. So I thought I was fine. Other neighbor came and spoke with me, was very aggressive, very heated in the moment. With me first meeting the guy, saying that he was pissed off for us riding. We shut it down pretty much after that, and I didn't really think anything of it from there. It was just respectful, didn't really see an issue. It's not super late at night, it's during the day, shouldn't be a problem. So you think here in the town that I live in, we actually have a noise ordinance that was set in stone where you can't ride past like 9 p.m. We're gonna take a little intermission. It's freezing. I'm gonna go load the bike up. I don't think I need to continue the story here. I guess I'll go finish it off in the truck. We'll get into like the main story on what happened. It is too cold to be standing out there right now. Gotta love New York. Pretty much from there, fast forward a couple weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, I actually rented a dozer, which most of you saw, for about 7 days. After 2 days of actually using the dozer from the videos that you guys saw, the town people actually came out saying that somebody had called complaining or basically blowing me in that I'm moving dirt on my property, pretty much. I don't know how somebody would have known I was doing that other than either having me on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, or walking on the property, because from the way you go in, you can't actually see what I'm doing in the back of the property unless you actually walk to the back of the property. You can't see what I'm doing from the road. Just starting from there, that alone, just thinking about the person that would call the town on somebody for moving dirt on their own property just blows my mind. It's insane. Like, find something better to do. Go get a hobby, do something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the crazy one here. Who knows? Their first time out, this is what they actually ended up telling me. The video is going to be of nothing. It's mainly just for the audio. Nice to meet you.
Yep, Tyler.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter who we got it from, but I would imagine it's somebody that's within earshot of listening to the bikes.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't ridden one time in the past 2 months, so.
The only thing we got here,
Well, I mean, I was just
if it's an approval for a motocross track for professional, then obviously this is zone R1.
Yeah.
If it's approval to build your own, well, then
because it's all personal.
you still get a use permit of some sort.
Okay.
If it was permission to get a house,
Okay.
that's how you normally get permission to move dirt.
Okay.
You look at the whole property.
Yeah.
Where's your septic going? I'm going to move dirt here.
Yeah. Right.
Engineers look at it and say, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the water's going to go to this pond. You're going to make it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But you don't have any approval, so you really can't start bulldozing and push dirt around. Even though it's not filling, you're moving dirt. So we just don't have it called a moving dirt permit. It's called something else, but it does the same thing.
So what would I go and classify?
Well,
That's the thing.
It's going to cost money just to get a permit to move dirt.
Okay.
And you're going to have to justify why you're moving dirt.
Okay.
See, if the DEC comes in here, you're going to get hit big time. What is it? How much? Oh, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was
considered a
It was
day.
something like 10,500 or some weird number. But whatever it is, it's the money you don't want to have to pay. This is an odd thing. And in this town, we really don't have any codes. And in this town, we really don't have any codes. That's clear on what to do.
Yeah,
so right now, I'm not sure what else to tell you except you gotta stop.
As far as riding, wouldn't that just be a noise ordinance?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not until 9
I've got
p.m.
complaints before today, and I told them, okay, he's riding a bike, there's nothing in the rule that says you can't ride a bike.
Okay.
I can tell you is there are numerous people that are bothered by the noise of the motorcycle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
We'll talk soon.
So moving along from that, the key points from that conversation basically saying that it's potentially or is a DEC issue, it's a town issue, and that I maybe at that point would need a permit to move the dirt, that I didn't have a basic moving dirt permit that I didn't know I needed at the time to move dirt on your property. So come into play later in the story on what they actually tell me and how the story changes. So it's kind of left off as they would call me and let me know if it was an actual issue. So fast forward the next day, calls me, we go in, discuss what the actual issue is and how we can kind of obviously resolve this, and me just get the permit and carry on with what I was doing. So you would think. So I would go in there and the whole big code book stating what I need, basically a basic moving dirt permit should be all I would need, you would think. So proceeding from there, I would have to apply for the actual permit through the town to be able to do what I want. All of a sudden, more things pop up. Now, apparently, I'm not allowed to get that permit, and according to some code that we were never shown, or he couldn't show us the code, we somehow had to find the code online. He couldn't actually show us, open the book and find it. I can't ride a motorized vehicle on a pile of dirt on my property. So it's against some code for me to actually ride a motorized vehicle over a pile of dirt, apparently, which makes complete sense. Right, yeah, I should totally believe that. I can find the code, clearly can't find it, doesn't make any sense. It was at this point where the town told me where I had to flatten everything, re-rent a dozer, and let it grow over for a month or two, whenever like the grass and the really long grass would grow back up, and then they could sign off that it's stable and the whole case can be closed apparently, and I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. And then I can reapply and try and get a moving dirt permit after everything's signed off and everything's grown over and I flattened it. After months and months, that makes complete sense. Why wouldn't I be able to just leave it, apply for the permit, get the permit, and then proceed with what I'm doing? Yes, I was in the wrong for not initially doing more research and getting the first moving dirt permit. I will take responsibility for that, and I understand that I was in the wrong. I totally understand that. Just the way that the town went about the situation and all of the harassment from the town, that's pretty much why I'm making this video. There was no reason they had to go about it this way, especially with me and my lawyer. And it's honestly kind of embarrassing that somebody like this works at the town. I'm not the only person that has had an issue with the town and the code enforcement people. There's numerous other people that I have asked and told my story to where they're like, yeah, like same situation. I don't know why I'm getting a hard time from the town for doing this. So I'm not the only one in this town that has had an issue with them directly lying to my lawyer, saying and going back on their word on specific things that they said, when my lawyer documented everything, has it recorded, written down what they said, and then the next phone call, they just go back on their words saying, no, we never said that, we never did that, we're not gonna do this. And in this time of me having to go into the town before I got my lawyer involved, Ryan dropped off his skid so I can brush hog some of the like laneways. And as we were dropping it off, I think it was 8 a.m., dropping off the skid steer, town drives by slow, slams on the brakes, and then pulls away. Didn't think anything of it. And then that same day we went into the town to talk about stuff, and it was brought up, what are you doing with the skid steer? Why do you have a machine there? What are you doing with it? Did you get a permit? What are you gonna do with it? And I don't think I should have to justify myself for having a machine on my property. I don't know why they were so down my neck on every little thing that I do, and it's gonna proceed like that, I'm sure. But clearly some of the neighbors have nothing else better to do but to immediately call the town as soon as I do something or have a machine dropped off. And when I went in, him saying that he was sent a few YouTube videos of mine from neighbors, anonymous people, but who else would send him videos other than the people that are calling on me? So clearly they know. They sent him, I don't know what videos, I guess a couple side-by-side videos, one where I put the exhaust on. And I'm attacked saying that the police chief is involved and he's looking out for what I'm doing. I don't even know why that was brought up in what was going on. It had nothing to do with the actual moving dirt. But every little thing, like I said, every little thing that I did, it was brought up for some reason. And I have nothing but respect for all the local police officers that I've dealt with at the side-by-side of the dirt bikes and everything along those lines. And they even understand from me telling one of the officers the story in that video about the town giving me a hard time about having a couple piles of dirt. And he looks at me like I was joking almost, that I was getting harassed, attacked by the town for doing this for months and months and months. It's gone on for pretty much this entire year, from right when I bought the property up until probably 2 weeks ago when it finally closed out. So over the course of those couple months when my lawyer was going back and forth with the town, trying to figure out an agreement, what the actual case was, what they could actually get me for, I basically said I'm not gonna flatten it. And I'm not gonna do it. It doesn't make any sense. I was gonna fight for what I believe was right and what made the most sense, because I don't think it's very fair that I should have to flatten it. Because ultimately what they were trying to do is to get me to flatten it, wait a few months for it to regrow over, and then pretty much not give me approval to redo it, and me just never ride there again and not have to deal with 1 or 2 neighbors maybe calling. According to my lawyer, they were saying every single week, every day, people are calling, complaining that I'm riding, complaining about the noise, that the town doesn't have people that ride in it. I've ridden there maybe 7 or 8 times at that point over the course of 5 months. So clearly the story's skewed, clearly it's not me and everything's made up. And that's when I pretty much looked at it as the town is a joke. You can't believe anything that they say. Really who to trust and whose word to trust, because as a clip I'll put in here, a guy above this guy, which I spoke with, that came out and looked at the property, had no issue with what I was doing. So I'll put that clip right here, and him being very understanding with the situation and really seeing that it wasn't an issue. It's not as big of an issue as they were making it out to be, and it shouldn't be this whole big case that I was dealing with. So still from there, the town came after me. I got a notice in the mail that I was gonna get fined, I believe 150 or 200 a day, because I moved over 2 acres of dirt. It was never measured, the amount of dirt that I moved, but apparently starting a certain date, I was gonna get fined up to 200 a day. I think 2 weeks later, got another notice that it jumped up to, I believe, 350 a day, and now the max I could move was 1 acre. So it went from 2 acres being okay to now only 1 acre being okay. So we sent that in, and then honestly, just going back and forth with that takes a lot of time. To almost finish it out, the last couple emails that I got from the town and my lawyer was, the town was requesting that, once again, I flatten it by, I believe, April of 2021, and that now I'm not allowed to just rent a dozer and flatten it myself. Now I have to get a moving permit, I have to get a permit through the DEC, and I also have to get an engineer to regrade out and flatten the property. So now I couldn't just do it, now it's all changed where I have to get all these permits to flatten it. Keep in mind, before all of this, when the town said it was a DEC issue, that I was gonna get fined up to 10 to 20, 30 grand. I then called the DEC the next day and asked them. They searched the property, looked everything up, and they told me that it's not a DEC issue and it has nothing to do with them, and it's just the town. Basically saying there shouldn't be a problem at all. I only need a permit if I'm moving dirt off my property. I can move all the dirt I want on the property, but I can't move it off the property. So I don't need anything essentially. And I have all that on video filmed. From there, I'm like, okay, we're good, right? Should be done at this point. And then that's when they came and said that I have to get a permit to actually flatten it. That's where it was at. And then a week later I had my court date. We went in there to actually discuss what the case was, what was gonna happen with the town. The judge went over everything, looked at us, looked at the town attorney, and then they basically said that they want to drop the case at this point, and it was all closed out. So pretty much almost the entire main chunk of the year was wasted because the town tried to come after me and do something just for them to drop the case, and here we are. So now it's winter, obviously can't really do anything with the property. Now I still probably need an engineer apparently to get a permit to move dirt and go through this whole ordeal. So that's where we're at. There's the update for everyone. I wish I could have said this sooner, but I really couldn't talk about it until everything was closed out and done with. I couldn't imagine having nothing better to do than go out of your way, call the town on somebody for moving dirt, for riding dirt bikes. And yeah, I don't know, just find a hobby, find something to do. I guess your life's so miserable that that's what you have to do. I don't know, I'm sorry, I really feel bad for you. But yeah, that's just the way it goes, I guess. All it takes is one person to call and complain, and pretty much you're shut down. So there's my story. If any of you have a similar story, let me know in the comments. I know I left a lot of parts out, but this is basically the main chunk of the story. Some of you might know lawyers aren't cheap, and definitely added up and wasted thousands of dollars for this, which thank you to the town, thank you to the guy that called. So I really appreciate the town for that and the people that called to complain about me. And like I said, find something better to do. But after the fact, wasting all that money with my lawyer for no reason, I think it's worth it. Having that gut feeling, knowing something's not right, and then in the end finding out that everything's skewed and they're just lying and making up different things about me. It is what it is at this point, and it's finally over with, and I don't have to deal with it anymore. So to close this video out, if you haven't gotten your entry in to win my RM125, there's only 5 days left to get your entry in before the giveaway ends. So every $5 spent gives you 1 entry on my website. If you want something, I get it now so you don't miss out. And like I said, 5 days left before the thing ends, and you lose your opportunity to actually win this thing. So top link in the description to my website. With that, if you guys are new, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.